How's everybody doing today? I'm going to be analyzing AI behavior and what makes AI basic, intermediate, and advanced. I'm going to be using one game for each category. I'll go into great detail on each. For basic, I will use Ishin the sorting. For intermediate, I will use the Marauder. And for advanced, I will use Virgil. I will explain each AI in great detail and why they fit each category. And if they don't fit in the category that you want them to fit in, this is not made to offend anyone. This is just made to be objective. This is an analysis video, so yeah. So what makes Ishin a basic AI? A basic AI, in the most simplistic way to explain, is an AI who has 4 mechanics, which is movement, attacking, blocking, and dodging. But with bosses, they have more mechanics since they have to be more difficult. Ishin is not advanced because all of his attacks are very similar to his grandson, Genshiro. He has the same lightning ability and projectiles which only shoot about 2 to 3 times. Genshiro shoots way more than he does, projectiles than he does. Between these two, the only big difference is that Genshiro uses a sword and Ishin uses a spear. So bosses have a mechanic I like to call progressive difficulty, which means as you fight them, they become more and more aggressive by doing more attacks, or they change how they fight. But I'll go go more into that in the advanced category. Ishin will attack more often and will grab you if you get too close. That's really what he does for the most part when it comes to progressive difficulty. But it's not that complicated when you fight him. He also has unblockable attacks, which is the laziest way to design a boss, because the only way to counter that attack is to dodge it. It limits player creativity, and it doesn't allow the player to use different methods on how to counter enemy attacks just one way, which is very boring. Also, his biggest flaw, Ishin does not punish for using cheap tactics at all. You can cheese this boss very easily. As you can see, I'm showing on screen, you have a YouTuber called Avid Alchemist exploiting the AI because, like I said, there's no punishment for cheesing. If you want to see the Avid Alchemist's video, he explains the problems with the Souls genre. The link will be in the description for that video. So yeah, when it comes to intermediate AI, they are more smart because they do AI and they do everything that AI does but better. The Marauder is a perfect example. He is designed to punish the player for spamming and not using your weapons in the correct way. The Marauder is a defensive powerhouse, keep that in mind. His weakness is offense. When you get too close, he will shoot you. When you get too far, he will throw his axe. And when you're at mid-range, he'll swing his axe at you and his eyes will glow green. When he's in that state, you can shoot him and he will go into a stun state. But there are other ways on how to stun him. That's not the only way of how to do so. When he's moving or attacking, that is his weakness. When you shoot his shield and spam, he will summon a dog, which will chase you down to the ends of the earth. The only way to get rid of the dog is to either shoot it or kill the Marauder, and which will die pretty easily. The dog is not a threat, it's a distraction. Keep that in mind. This is why the Marauder is a better AI. He will punish you and counter you for spamming and not exploring his weaknesses. People will say you can only use the shotgun and ballista to kill, which is not true at all, because you can see right now I'm using every weapon. I'll show you a clip of me using every single weapon in the game to kill the Marauder. Except for the super weapons, I have to use more than one because super weapons he's resistant to it. So I have to try and catch him when he's off guard or stun him. I'll show that right now. let's move on to Virgil from Devil May Cry. When it comes to advanced AI, they're very adaptive and unpredictable on occasion. They try to mix up gameplay, and their attack patterns are situational and adaptive. One example, if you spam attacks at him and just shoot at him, he'll just block it. You won't do any damage to him, it'll just be wasting your time. You have to catch him when he's off guard in order to damage him. And Virgil will change his fighting style as he fights. Especially when he goes into the Devil Trigger state, his fighting style will completely change before he goes into Devil Trigger. Virgil is what we call a progressive AI, because as you fight him, he will change how he attacks, how he blocks, how he defends, how he counters. It will be completely different. He won't do the exact same thing as he did at the start of the fight to the end. This is the best way to program AI, because the AI changes as you fight and becomes more and more difficult in a way that makes sense. Because advanced AI should be the AI that you should be afraid of. You should be scared when you fight Virgil. You think, oh, this is gonna be easy. This is gonna be piss easy. I'm gonna rinse this dude. That shouldn't be the case. That is why when you fight him, you see how different it is when you start and when you end. That is the best way to program AI. It shouldn't be the same, and the start of fight should be at the end. That's why the Marauder was on intermediate, wasn't on advanced. That's why Ishin is basic, because Ishin is on the most basic level. He doesn't really change his attack pattern. The only thing that changes is that he does more attacks. He doesn't actually change his fighting style. That's the only biggest difference. It's an addition. It's not a change. What I mean by change is that they will fight differently, and they won't use the same exact tactics that they did before, and they will try and catch you off guard or punish you. That is an advanced AI. Progressive difficulty is what Virgil is at his best. The best way I can explain it. I'm just gonna show you. I'm just gonna let you see for yourself what I mean by that. So that's the end of this analysis video. If you disagree, comment down below. But if you do agree, comment down, tell me what you agree with, and tell me how I should improve. But if you just like the video at all, just like, subscribe, and that's it. So I'll see you guys later.